Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. We have another panel discussion today. We're going to be talking about rolling versus RTS or LTS, RTS. I don't know, whatever. Hey, my brain's just not working right now. And well, of course we have point releases and things like this. I ended up finding one article. I should probably send it to my panelists, shouldn't I? Ha ha ha. There's something I should probably
perhaps.
Should I send it just to you, or let's send it to everybody? I'm just gonna go ahead and send it to everybody. We're gonna pull up that article.
Send it. Full send.
It's from the average Linux user. I dropped it in the YouTube comments there. Hey, let me also pull up Discord as well. So I'll be on the Discord live chat as well for anybody over there. All right, very sweet. So, how's everything going this week, everybody?
I'm making it through.
Yeah, it's about where I'm at. It's been a week, that's for sure.
That's I'm kind of with you on that. It's definitely been a week. Not as crazy. I think was it last week? I think I had all hell breaking loose all over the place, and so like I managed it fairly well. But this week is a little calmer. But since I'm dog sitting for somebody, that always throws my weekend a little bit of a tizzy. So it's like. I gotta drive over there a couple times a day. I just found it's easier if I go over there and just sleep on the couch. That way I can let the dog out at night, sleep on the couch, let the dog out in the morning, and save myself a trip. So, all right. So, how's everybody in the comments there? We got Sage, rolling computer to use for non-professional work, LTS work for work computer. That is Sage's idea. Still some people who believe it's a rolling is unstable myth, from Hubert. My concern is it's not the unstable, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily more or less. We'll get into that and talk about everybody's discussions. I have my own quibbles about using rolling for work. We'll get into all of that. Alex uses rolling release for professional usage and less problems at Ubuntu that frequently cause as stable. Arch Wiki is so complete that even if something happens, the answer is there, and usually like 3 seconds, just totally awesome. Let's see. Quantum Alpha is watching, and he posted a picture up there from Discord on Manjaro. Quantum Alpha is on Manjaro. Hope Manjaro is working for you well. All right. He's got a little pop-out window there watching me over top of Discord. That sounds fun.
Told you that pop-out window is where it's at, Dan. You just got to get on board, man.
I hate it. It drives me mad.
Y'all got to get on board.
The reason it drives me crazy is it's like if I click the back browser, like the back button, I intended to leave the page. I don't want to continue to hear the video. If it's a simple button, it's like, hey, push the button here to pop out the video. Hey, I'm cool with that. That's cool. That's no problem. But that's me. I don't know. Maybe I need to get on board.
Gentoo for life.
Gentoo for life. All right.
Yeah, probably because it took half a life to build it.
Yeah. I have so much of my life invested in this thing, I couldn't possibly swap it for Ubuntu.
Remove it from my dead hands.
Last year we had the high-end guys. They all posted videos of Gentoo installs.
Nice.
I mean, I think there was Zebedee Boss and there was Ben Fitzpatrick, I think, did one, and Ricky did one.
Yeah, Brian Leduc did.
Them things lagged on for 2 or 3 days, not 2 or 3 hours.
Kind of time. I don't even have time to install Arch with ArchFi. Come on, man. I want to get some up and running in like 20 minutes. I mean, I still am going to be doing a review on it. I actually changed the main operating system on one of my computers, believe it or not. And I just want to do a full comprehensive review. Probably it's going to happen like a week or two. I literally had the entire computer. Here is the breakdown. I encountered a problem during dinner about 6 o'clock. I had a Bible study to go to 6:30. I tried to play around with the thing during that. Decided about 7:30, it's kind of a lost cause. Let's just wipe it because I've already invested more time than it takes to reinstall an operating system and do a full backup. I go home, I take a full backup of the data, and by the end of the evening, which only like 2 hours later, I had an entire perfect operating system set up with everything added I wanted to add, everything removed I wanted to remove, all my data put back in place, all my settings exactly where I wanted them. I mean, you can't do that anywhere but Linux, but you can't do it on Gentoo. Not to disparage the Gentoo folks. There's times you want to do that. I agree. That's right.
Gentoo pushes the fine line between a distro for working and a distro for a hobby.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, for those wanting to try Gentoo and don't want to have that much time, Calculate just released a new version, and Calculate is an excellent Gentoo installer. You can get it up and running in half hour or less. Very nice system. So if you are curious about Gentoo and want to play around with it, want to learn about Gentoo, Calculate just dropped a new version, so go check that one out. And Serge actually is big on Calculate, so if you know Serge,
Yeah, he likes that.
Chat with him. Let's see. Right now using Solus Budgie as a daily driver. Never been happier. I think we've already read that one, but hey, I'm behind.
Quantum Alpha in the Discord live chat is the exact reason I switched away from Windows.
What's that?
I'm a Windows sysadmin, and I get home after being at work for 8 to 10 hours working on Windows problems just to have more Windows problems.
No, I don't want more Windows problems.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not using Debian because it never requires any attention.
Yeah. Every now and again, but let's see. Clicked on the video at the right mark. All right. Let's see. By the way, I prefer LTS. There you go. I like both rolling and LTS for different reasons. Actually, that's really why I haven't taken Arch off the other system. I love the rolling. I just don't want to do my regular work on it. I'll kind of get into that when we actually get into the actual meat of the video here. If we had forget to meet, I don't know.
Here is the question. Is Ubuntu still really an LTS or isn't it?
Well, it's
changing stuff because now they have the hardware enablement stack for the kernel, and they're always pushing and pulling stuff out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got their Snap store, and then they're always changing something in it.
Yeah, I mean, it still is technically considered a fixed release.
Yeah, I was about to say it's its own kind of thing.
Yeah, and then they do have like the fixed release model, kind of like Fedora, but they also have the LTS model, which is the even year 04s. So when those ones don't get as messed around with, so the 1804 branch isn't going to change a whole lot more. They make them slowly, incrementally better, but I think we needed that on 1804 with such a bad package base. It was like the Windows Vista of Linux, I think.
Wow, harsh words right there.
I know, but that's why this computer is still running on Linux Mint 18.3 is because the 1804 Ubuntu package base is a dumpster fire. It's better now. It's better now than it was, but it certainly was a dumpster fire when it first came out. It was just like Windows Vista, and they're like, "Oh, got to push it out because the calendar says we got to push it out," and that's a bad way to run your distro. That's why I respect Debian. Hey, man, it'll roll as soon as it'll roll, but that's about it. Chrome OS, yes, is Gentoo. There you go. There's the easiest method. If you want to run Gentoo, just get a Chrome.
Get a Chromebook. Oh, I got one down here.
It's
ARM powered too. So
I don't even know. Does that? I look at Chrome OS as. I think that Chrome OS is as much Gentoo Linux as Android is Linux. Really not.
Yeah, like it has like the underlying like kernel, like Android. I put AOSP on this blue phone, and its Linux kernel is 4.14, I think.
Wow.
So
I don't even know what my Linux kernel is. Probably old.
Probably 4.15.
Yeah,
I update my phones like never, but I didn't do anything with it.
Was it us talking about how Google pays to maintain that very old Linux kernel? Like there's so many different Android devices that their base is like 3.9 is the kernel. It's like ancient. It's like, my goodness.
I got 3.10 right here, baby.
Woo!
3.10. Can I focus?
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning was the kernel, and the kernel was old. Oh boy. Maybe it might be about time to update that there thing. Mitchell says, I don't understand the obsession with installing distros. It's more interesting to actually use a distro for an extended period of time. I agree, and that's probably why I don't do quite as many. Like, I don't change this one around. I'll still look at distros in the virtual machine, but as far as throwing it on my computer, I mean, hey, I threw it on my one computer after running the same operating system for 4 years. It was about time to change anyway. Besides, half of that computer had Windows on the other disk, and last time I booted into Windows was like 2018 or something, and that was by accident. It's about time to wipe Windows off and just go, let's just go pure Linux on this baby. I got it in that transitional time. I might need Windows sometimes. No, not really. Let's see. Snaps never do well for me. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Me either.
I'm just finding, like, if you're using Ubuntu, they seem to work fine. If you're using other stuff, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yates Network says that Google Chromium Snap package was screwing up his client's ability to download remote access software. I said he, Yates. I don't actually know what your gender is. There.
Interesting. I'm pretty sure that's
clients.
Yeah, it's probably Mark.
Oh, okay. So that's
or Simple Tech. He goes by many names.
Oh, right, Simple Tech. Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's one reason not to use the Snap Chromium package.
There you go. Yeah. Should we actually dive into? Should we dive into a little bit of the meat here? Get a little on topic, maybe. I'm done with the comments. So.
Yeah, we're dancing around it.
That's right. We're dancing around the dancing around thing. Let's stop doing the tango. Let's stop doing the tango and do the 50-yard dash instead. All right. So first, when we're talking about rolling or LTS, and technically I should say maybe rolling or fixed release. LTS is a form of fixed release that has a longer duration. LTS, if you're new to the Linux world, is long-term. What is it? Long-term
support.
Support. Thank you. So basically it means, I was thinking long-term something, but that wasn't right. So the idea is a long-term support is really what you want on a server. You want it on something that requires the system to run reliably, but doesn't have a lot of, it may not have a lot of desire or need to run the absolute latest packages. They have the greatest overall security, the greatest overall support without changing much of anything underlying, other than working out the bugs and things like that. Now, a fixed release, like the standard every 6-month Ubuntu release would be a good example of a fixed release where every few months they're doing an incremental change. The idea is now whether you wipe it and just install the new one, or if you just install the new one over the old one as Ubuntu does, every 6 months or so, you're going to get just a giant boom. Everything's going to roll up to the next version of software we're particularly looking at. And then
the 6-month ones are not LTSs though. They only run, I think, for a maximum of 9 months.
9 months, yeah. So those ones are, so in Ubuntu, the even year 04 are going to be your LTS. So 1404, 1604, 1804, 2004 are your Ubuntu LTSs. All of the other ones, so the 1610, the 1704, 1710, 1810, those are all supported only for 9 months, and then you just get a giant, massive all software roll. So what stays the same? Does anybody want to chime in on anything before we jump into what stays the same or anything?
I haven't used a rolling release really. No, yeah, I've operated fixed releases and LTSs only, so I wanted to stay away from the rolling release. I mean, I don't know, Manjaro doesn't count as a rolling release, does it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, on my Pinebook Pro, I ran Manjaro, so I guess I did for a while.
Yeah. So what's going to stay the same in an LTS is the software versions all stay the same, but you get the incremental security patches. The fixed releases rolls up the version, but it only rolls up the version predictably when the next release is. So Debian 9 to Debian 10 rolls up the next package version. Ubuntu 1804 to 1810 to 1904 to 1910 rolls the version of the software. Now, this is different from a rolling release where everything is always the latest version. If they release a brand new version of Audacity tomorrow, you got the brand new version of Audacity as soon as you push that update button. And that's really what our difference is. Now, in the past, rolling distributions have been, they've been talked about stability. And it is, at this point, really a myth that you're going to have a system completely bork out on you in such a way that you can't easily fix it if you're rolling. So that's really more of a myth, but it does persist. Anybody want to jump in on any of those at this point?
When I first started, and this was 2 years ago in 2018, I moved from, I think, Linux Mint to Manjaro for a brief time. And it seemed like when I got updates from Manjaro every so often, one would just completely bork my machine. Mm-hmm. And the machine would continue to work as long as it was powered on. But if I rebooted it, I got stuff like Light DM missing and stuff like that. Yeah. And trying to fix that, I've got anything, try to reinstall Light DM. Well, I did that and it made it worse. And that happened to me 4 times before I gave up on Manjaro at that point. I think Manjaro these days is probably a lot better than it was 2 years ago, but I just struggled with it. I really wanted to like Manjaro, but it didn't like me.
Yeah.
Now I tried Arco Linux, Arco B with the net installer and all that, and I had that on my machine for a month and a half, and it gave me updates every day. It gave me so many updates it made me nervous. It wasn't that it ever crashed, did anything bad to me, or stuffed a knife in my back or anything. It's just that every day it wanted 5 to 10 updates.
Hey, I have 219 updates sitting here on Arch right now.
Yeah, my internet can't handle that kind of download.
It might only be a gig or two.
It's kind of, even though Fedora is not a rolling release per se, I feel like that with Fedora, even though like it doesn't get a new version except every 6 months, I feel like I have so many updates in Fedora every time I boot it up, which is daily. So, and it's been quite unstable for me. So I'm thinking about hopping again. So,
well, you're just using Fedora with GNOME or something else?
Yeah, just GNOME. I've tried GNOME and KDE and Deepin and Mate, and it's like it constantly just locks up, and I have no idea why.
Yeah, I found with Fedora, GNOME is actually the best desktop environment.
Yeah, it's most stable under GNOME, but it's not. It's less stable than Pop! OS was. Yeah. So Pop! OS was having some issues. So.
Well, I'm using LMDE4 right now, which is essentially just Debian with a newer Cinnamon desktop installed on it, and that's all it is. It's Debian with the newer desktop that Debian doesn't. They give you the old one if you go the Debian way, and it's the quickest way to actually put Debian in your machine. It puts all the stuff you normally got to have scripts and everything when you use the net installer with Debian. The only thing I had to go fish out is how to install an NVIDIA drivers.
Yep.
And, that was the only thing I had to go out of my way really to do.
If I'm not mistaken, I thought it supported installing the NVIDIA drivers on the installer. If there's on the ISO, there should be an NVIDIA driver boot up version.
There might have been, and I forgot about it. Okay. But that's the worst case scenario. But it always works when you start up the computer, and when it says it's got a nice update indicator in the thing, just like Mint is famous for. And when it says it wants an update, I got to call everybody up, throw a party to see what it's all about because it does it so little.
Yeah. What's going on? There's an update. Yeah.
Yeah, bring a case of beer in here. We got to see this. This is history breaking.
Yeah.
Come on, Windows
yeah.
updates are running. Somebody get the beer. We're gonna be here all night.
Well, that's the difference, though, between Windows updates is get the beer, we're going to be here all night, versus Debian. Hey, we have a party, we have updates. Let's see what changed.
Debian is
beer
the
waiting between updates.
Yeah, and it
Debian
generally
is a-
doesn't bork itself either. For you guys who want to do, if you want like some bragging rights, Debian is what they use on the space station. So
Yeah, Debian does have some drawbacks. So you may not find packages as plentiful as you would on Ubuntu. Some packages just aren't in the repository. Others you kind of want to use all-in-one packages with, like maybe Waterfox or Firefox. Just get the all-in-one package and put it in a folder, make a little script file so it shows up in your menu.
yeah.
I've done all kinds of little tricks like that. Use AppImages and Flatpak to supplement not having snaps. And
There's also, though, in Debian, you can enable the contributor repositories, which will give you pretty much all that other software as well.
Well, I don't want to get
not in Flatpak, you know.
I don't want to get to the point where I'm putting stuff in the machine that could make it unstable.
Generally it doesn't, but because it's still Debian, it's pretty stable. It's really hard to kill
The
Debian.
people that use SID tell me it's a whole different ball of wax on the SID side because you do get much bigger repositories, but they crash more often.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with it for a while. Mitchell says, don't usually need rolling distro. Glad it's there. It's a great choice for many people. I think Mitchell had another good one as well that's worth discussing here, if I can find it again, because my comments just shot around on me.
Rolling distros are like a rowboat, and you're going down a river, but the river has no end.
Yeah. All right,
It's very tiring.
So Mitchell says there are different types of rolling release distros. Some hold packages for a few days or a week. So that's what Manjaro does. They will hold packages for a few days in the odd event something does break. So recently with the Audacity, the change to Audacity to 2.4.1, there was actually a change in the original code that broke the ability for plugins to be installed. Arch actually had that fixed in like a day or two after it showed up. The people running the latest Audacity, though, on Ubuntu, it's still broken. So it is, and it's going to remain broken until they fix the repositories. There is a workaround. If you need that workaround, let me know and I will get it for you. I had to fix it on one of my systems because guess what? Audacity is a mission critical application for my office. And I had to spend an entire day trying to figure out how to fix Audacity on this thing. Because there was a problem where it like put a file in the wrong place. And so you have to grab the updated version of Audacity, overwrite your current package with it, and then change some folders around. And then it actually works. It works well. So, but for those audiobook producers out there, they've actually put an RMS normalize directly into Audacity by default now. Woohoo! Bonus! We finally got it.
All right.
So it's still hold out if it's actually good or not, but we'll see. We'll see. The other factor, he says, that some have an LTS kernels. Yes, I actually run the LTS kernel on my Arch Labs, mostly because at the time I installed Arch Labs, you could not install it with a non-LTS kernel in my experience. So I'm just installed with the LTS because I would prefer that anyway. I don't want to have to fix it. That being said, I actually have only ever had one problem on... I've only ever had one problem on Arch, and it wasn't major. Well, I had two, but I did one of them myself. So I killed LightDM once. All right. Anything else anyone wants to say about rolling, LTS, fixed releases, anything like that?
I was about to say, the only thing I have about LTS is so I'm thinking about hopping over to OpenSUSE because SUSE is what I learned Linux on in college. So I kind of have gone to it a few times in my life just because it was the one. So, but the current leap for OpenSUSE is kernel 4.12, and there's wireless cards that don't work with it because of that, and I have to manually get exFAT on there. So I'm just kind of like, I've got it on this little laptop over here because I'm just learning what I'm going to have to set up before I actually go and put it on my desktop, and it's like, it's annoying.
How about the tumbleweed build? Because there's a rolling in an LTS for.
Yeah, I know that there
OpenSUSE.
is, but
You
hold
got
on a
people
second.
coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on OpenSUSE, yes, the point release is an old kernel, but they do have a rolling and a point release, so you can do either one.
Apologies on that.
So no problem. Yep.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so right. I was kind of like nervous about the rolling, jumping on the rolling, just given the issues I'm having with Fedora.
Yeah, it's if it's a mission critical machine, maybe not. But if it's something that you can have a day or two of downtime, go for it. Particularly if you have an extra hard drive laying around, you can throw some stable thing on it. So if you run into a bug, you can just throw this thing in there.
Yeah,
That's
Try
yeah,
to
that,
fix it.
that's what I do. I have extra SD SSDs and hard drives laying around all over the place.
Yeah.
got the inside of my computer so pretty though. I hate taking it apart.
Oh, mine, there is no cable management. It's a bird's nest and a rat's nest.
Ugh.
Mine's probably a spider nest. Or a centipede nest. For some reason, we have a lot of centipedes here. Occasionally, I'll find skins floating around, although I've never found them anywhere near the computer. But maybe
Them
the kitties are eating them.
worse than the spiders do.
Yeah, centipedes are freaky. I'll tell you. Centipedes are one of two bugs that they don't get a pass around here. They just get killed instantly. Spiders, hey, he's just hanging out in the corner. He'll kill the flies. I don't mind.
Earwigs are even worse.
No. What's that? Oh, earwigs. Yeah, earwigs. They're actually my number one bug that I kill on site. They have a bounty around here. Earwigs and centipedes. I've only seen one or two earwigs around here though. So
I don't think I know what an earwig is. I gotta look that up.
oh,
It looks like a centipede, but it's got little pinchers on the front of it.
Yeah, they're creepy. Nightmare fuel. They're nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I've seen these things before.
Okay, so Mitchell uses LTS at work and rolling release at home. That's almost like my attachment, only since I work at home. My main production computers are the LTS, and my media computer is the rolling. And there's advantages to both. We'll get into that maybe next, if there's nothing else we want to mention on our highly organized process that we have here. So.
I was looking at this article. I've never heard of Chakra Linux. Is that Chakra?
Chakra. Yeah. I think I might have done a review on it at one point in time. Let's go over and look at the article. So this article we dropped at the beginning of the discussion here from averagelinuxuser.com. They're talking about rolling versus fixed releases. Talk about the package managers, how they run, the semi-rolling models. So third-party software and packages. So semi-rolling you can think of are your snaps. Yay, fun. Let's see, fixed release. They have static point released or versioned releases. So Ubuntu is your good example on that one. Of course, this article is fairly new. There you are. And of course, we have Debian. Debian rolls about as frequently as a glacier slides by. Oh, Kitty's back. Hello, Kitty. Come say hi to peoples. Oh.
What up, Kitty?
All right. Let me
It
move my
on 10 and everything else is at least on 20 or higher.
Okay, I'm working on a cat. All right, there we are. I got my headphones back. The cat stole my headphones. He's like, no, I don't want those.
He wants to listen in.
Yeah, he does. So here's Fedora. There you go. Then we have semi-rolling. We got Chakra. That doesn't sound familiar. We got OpenSUSE. Got Manjaro. And we got the Granddaddy Arch. Dun, dun, dun.
So to try Arch.
Oh, no. Give Arch a try, man. Give Arch a try. Throw it on the Pine Book if you can. That'd be fun.
I really do recommend everybody at least try Arch of one of its forms at some point or another. Just so you have the experience of knowing what it's like. There are things like Arco Labs and Arch Labs and Arco that help it install much faster and stuff like that. And there are plenty of how-tos on the internet that will walk you through installing it, so you can install it on a virtual machine while you're watching the video and decide if you want to play with it further.
Yep.
Average Linux user says that Manjaro is the best rolling release distro in his opinion, and is the best distro for gaming.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree that Manjaro, if you are going to try an Arch or a good rolling system, Manjaro is probably a good one. You might be, unfortunately, one of the people that might have a machine bork up, but I don't know if that's still happening as much as it was in the past. I've never experienced that personal. Not let you log in, Mark. Let me see. Oh, Kitty, please don't type. Hey, Mark, can you just send me an email on my Switch to Linux email address, or on the Switch to Linux website, and I will send you the link to join. Let's see. Bizzle made you even bigger. Make sure the remotes are organized. Arch is a roller coaster, but a stable one. Yeah, just use the Audacity Snap version, have the updated version of Ubuntu. There's a big problem with that. The theming doesn't work, and it looks like a giant mess, and it's almost impossible to use, and Snap packages suck. So, no.
Suck.
Thing I do like about Mint is how transparent about donations they are. Yeah. So not using System D, you can't install Snap. That is just a crying shame.
It's kind of ironic. I started out with Linux Mint, and now I'm back on some form of Linux Mint.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, their default thing in case Ubuntu folds up and I'm using it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Ubuntu to go under tomorrow, so I'm prepared.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some of the reasons why we might want to use an LTS. Like, why do I split my LTS? Oh, Mark got in. All right, looks like it. Why do we split the LTS and the rolling? For me, it's not stability. As I said, I've actually had more problems on Linux Mint, not because, actually, I think every problem I've had with updating on Linux Mint had to do with Audacity. Actually, Audacity seems to break itself a lot. Not necessarily break, but sometimes just do stupid things like, hey, no documentation. Let's take chains out of the edit menu, put them in the tools menu, and rename them to macros. No documentation on it that I could find. Like, really? So it's like, what are you doing? The latest version, of course, they had a bug, which is fixed in the actual package base. So like Arch, it's fixed. I think a few other places it's fixed as well. But us Linux users who are using the PPAs have the latest version. It's broken. You could, as Farron says, use the Snap version, but the theming doesn't work, including the mouse cursors. And that means that you don't actually have the mouse cursor indicating where you are at in your line. You actually just have a big old block, and none of the theming works, and everything's out of place. But you can enable the plugins. So yeah, but there's a fix for that, fortunately, and it will be fixed downstream. Now, for me, the reason I use the rolling is I want to see and play with and experiment with the new packages in a place that it's not going to drive me crazy where something's broken. So the latest versions, like Sigil is a good example. If you download Sigil, which I use for ebook production, if you download Sigil from the repositories in Ubuntu and probably still Debian, although I'm not sure what Debian's using right now, then the version that you get still embeds a what you see and what you get editor inside the program, and it's really slick. But there was a lot of bugs with that. There were some problems. So they pulled it out. Now they give you the ability to add your own what you see, what you get editor, and then the developers created a standalone what you see, what you get editor that will sync back in. So the newer versions, you have to download both applications, install them, and then link them together. On Arch, I can play with that and learn how to do that before I have to mess with that on my current system. And so I don't break my workflow while at the same time learning the new workflow. And that's the advantage of why I like using the rolling release. But there's a problem. I do not want the rolling release on my main production, because if they do something radical like that, now I have to take an hour of time when I'm supposed to be scheduled to work to figure out how to get my workflow back. You know what I mean? So,
well, here's another thing about having a rolling release like that. You actually get a glimpse of what's coming down the pipe in the future.
yes.
Because you get your Arch state-of-the-art modern stuff, just came off the press. You get to look at it and see what's going to come down the LTS side in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's why I like LTS though, is things don't change. They just don't change. And some applications do. I mean, you're still getting security updates. That's the thing that our culture has drilled into us, is that update. But then we're thinking that, oh, Debian's not secure because it doesn't get updates as fast as Arch. No, there's a difference between a security update and a version update. And Debian based distros keep the versions generally the same, with some exceptions like Firefox, who's lost their ever-loving mind. And stay tuned for either the news or a new video soon about what they've lost their mind about now. Holy crap. Talk about having the local criminal offender watching your children. My lands, Firefox. There you go. I'm whetting the appetite. Mark, are you figured out over there? How's it going, Mark?
He's unmuted.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Mark. See if you can get that figured out. All right. Anyone else want to jump in with anything in the meantime?
I haven't noticed any issues with Audacity, but I'm using it for a different purpose when I do use it. I use it actually to plug in my record player for my stereo. It's got a line out that goes into my laptop, which I just record the whole side of an album. Mm-hmm. And then I bring it over here, and it's one big FLAC file, uncompressed, and then I chop it up into its individual songs. And if there's like a scratch on the record that makes a clicking sound, sometimes I'll try and cover some of that up and then convert it to MP3s or something like that, which I can put on a USB stick and then it'll play in my truck.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's kind of a hobby. I got all this vinyl that I paid a fortune for that I am not going to buy again. I probably paid for it in CD form, cassette form, vinyl form. I'm not spending another $1 on a particular song, that I already had several times over.
Can we just ignore whatever comes after Blu-ray so I don't have to build my collection again?
If the feds come to the door, I'm going to dump out a whole box full of receipts and let them figure it out.
Yeah. Music, you don't generally have this. How's it going, Mark?
Dude,
there you go.
I'm hanging in there. I had to just turn up my mic volume. Everything was working. Feel like an idiot.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sometimes I feel pretty stupid.
It was a really funny thing, right? When I was back in them days, when I was first registering for my first semester in college, this was back before you did online registration. But of course, it was like that transitional time. Like they gave us email addresses, and it was a huge deal because like email was still hard to come across back in them days. And we go in there to schedule for classes, and the guy's like, "What's going on with this thing?" This is the PhD head of the biology department. Computer's not plugged in. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we all have the moments. I got a little red button on the front of my Blue Yeti mic that you got to push it and it turns solid red when it's hot. Then you push it again and it blinks when it's off. I have a tremendous problem of coming onto streams like this. Can't figure out why the mic won't work. Look at it. Oh, the light's blinking.
Yeah. Mine, same thing. But mine's actually blue.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to control mine there unless I'm doing anything with the soundboard. So.
And the microphone on this is in the front. It's not at the bottom. So like the way I got it right now, it works the way it's supposed to, except the stereo is reversed. If I flip the mic upside down, then the stereo would be correct.
Does the proximity? I was just gonna say, does the proximity sensor work a little better? I'm just a bit further away from the mic, but I've got it turned up more.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, we hear you great.
Sounds good now.
Good deal. I was gonna say, have y'all? I know this is kind of off topic, probably for the stream title. I have noticed Google Chrome has been getting pretty shady as well, and it aggravates me now. Firefox is doing crazy stuff.
What do you mean Google Chrome is getting shady?
Well, they've been shady, but like they specifically are like ramping it up. I noticed, it used to be you could use Google Chrome as a normie, and so long as I had you properly configured, you were good. Well, now they're starting to wrap in the extra security and stuff, and they're trying a sneaky way to get people to share their browsing data, uploading it to all of Google's servers.
Yeah, well, they're starting to do that now.
It's wrapping it in.
Well, the reason it's happening now, I mean, grab your tinfoil hats on this one, but Flash is dying.
Well, they're bad.
So what happened, and the reason why Flash was pretty much declared dead a while ago, but it persisted on, is this zombie application that was just kind of there in the background but never used. Because Flash can store cookie data that is infinitely larger than a browser can, and it's harder to clear. Like, you'd have to use CCleaner or BleachBit to clear out the cache for Firefox. Standard clearing your browsers doesn't. So what happens is websites are able to store browser data in Flash as well. So if you clear cookies in your browser, it doesn't actually clear them. Well, Flash is now declared completely dead as of this year. And so with that, now all of the companies are pushing to try and get all of the data on their servers. Why do you think Microsoft just released Edge based on Chromium instead of what they had? It's to take advantage of that same login so that your browser is perpetually logged in and all your browsing data goes right up to those individual companies.
Right.
Promises.
Machine learning, data mining. Yeah. They can use our data and just wreak havoc on, do anything they want if we give it to them. That's why for all my clients, I specifically turn that stuff off. And when it says enhanced security, and then I look at enhanced security, okay, what is that?
Enhanced security by logging in and storing your data on our stuff. Right. Yeah.
Let's suck up every last thing you do, and that's just Go ahead, bud. You want to say something? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was saying that Windows ES is not the same as SE Linux.
Yeah.
Extremely stupid. Windows extremely stupid. Is that it?
Oh, is that something new there? Is that the walled garden they're coming out with? ES. I've not heard of that one.
Yeah.
No, enhanced security. Enhanced security.
Yeah.
Bizzle asks once again, what is wrong with snap packages and Flatpaks? So, so there's three packages that are kind of trying to become like the future of Linux software that are kind of like Android apps. So they're the Flatpaks, the snaps, and the AppImages. The biggest challenge that I have with these now, first and foremost, is Snap. Snap is the most disturbing of all these because there is one proprietary distribution center. It is, of course, closed source because it's proprietary. Although technically the source code, what we put into the Snap package is available, but you can't really audit the package itself to see what it is. And according to Snapcraft's website, who runs the Snap store, they rely on the trust of the developer, not the trust of the code. And then you start looking at Snap packages and find that the people who wrote the programs are in no way affiliated with the people who built the Snap packages themselves. And so you end up with a whole bunch of weird, unofficial, unrelated Snap packages floating around. So it becomes like the Windows store, the Wild West of software development, that who knows what in the world you're actually downloading. Flatpaks are a little bit better in that you can control the source of them, you can audit them a little bit better, and you can actually, if you wanted to, you could actually build your own particular server and audit everything. The advantage with these is that they come prepackaged with the best dependencies to run the program without having to rely on your system. The downside is they are much larger. Snap and Flatpak both have the capability of auto updating themselves, which could be either good or bad, particularly since like there's one software package I'm looking at doing a review of soon that the Flatpak version of it, they goofed up somewhere and they have the Flatpak version is the release candidate 1 and it doesn't work. It's broken. And I do not have the option if I'm relying on Flatpaks to go back to the latest working version. But hey, Arch, Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, every other distro I've seen has the latest good working version of the application. I can't roll it back. AppImages are, in my opinion, one of the best because they do not auto-update. You download them directly from whoever packaged it, which hopefully is the same people that wrote it, and you have to manually update it. There are some programs you can do to automate the updates. The downside is it's hardest to get your AppImages to work with your basic theming system inside of your platform. So there's advantages of them, but not a lot. Go ahead, Dan.
There's also a problem I came across with AppImages and Debian particularly. When Electron went from version 4 point whatever to 5, all of a sudden all my AppImages quit working and they wouldn't open. There is something in the Debian kernel that's blocking them from working when they implemented Electron 5.
Interesting.
And it took hours of reading until I found out there's something in the kernel and you have to do kind of it's not a real fix, but it's a workaround, and it actually creates a security hole in your kernel, a potential one. And I got it written down in my notes, what you should do. It's something to select, to add additional user to the system and stuff like that, but I got notes on it because it got kind of complicated with the terminal to open up a hole so the Electron app would run. But them are some of the problems you have with these containerized contraptions.
Yeah.
Flatpaks on my machine do not auto update. I got to open the terminal every once in a while and type Flatpak update, and it'll show me all the outdated, Flatpaks and ask me if I want to replace them. And that's all I really got to say about that issue.
Yeah.
I'll say Farron OS Dev has something interesting to say about AppImages. He says that to be fair though, AppImage screwed themselves the moment they designed it with the classic Windows application, download it from the internet from totally reliable websites, end quote, ideology.
I do agree with that to a degree. I like the option of being able to do that, but at the same token, there are some deep concerns with downloading stuff from random places because, you could download a bad version of it, and then it gets spread throughout and nobody really knows about it. So that is certainly a criticism for sure, but at the same time, that just puts the impetus on the downloader to verify it's from a trusted, reliable source. So
these Flatpaks and snaps, more so snaps, are insidious because I cannot stand. It seems like the repository, the most purest, false Linux form of packages that was nurtured for so long, and we never really had much of an issue with repository packages. I understand that the goal of snaps and Flatpaks is to be able to bring Windows software that you would not normally run on Linux to be able to run on Linux. That was kind of already happening with like Arch, because you could do like tarballs and stuff in the R repository. It was already happening, but I feel like I wish Flatpaks and snaps never existed, because what it ends up doing now with all of everybody's focus, all of the developers at Ubuntu are now focused on pushing these snaps and Flatpaks to the point is it not? I think it's true. Hey, kitty cat. it's true, I believe, that you can download a package from the terminal and end up with a snap or a Flatpak. Is that right? Or is that just
Chromium,
through the
yeah,
store?
Chromium browser right now in Ubuntu. Automatically, if you do apt install Chromium, it will download Snap and then install the Snap version of it. That's why Linux
That
Mint
makes
has
sense.
blocked apt from installing snaps at all.
I think it also installs when you install the Chromium browser and Ubuntu, it orders up the install of Snapd and all its components.
Yep.
So you bought when you put in Chromium, you bought into the Snap package deal.
Correct. Yep.
And
Is there a way to
so-
disable the snaps in Ubuntu Budgie so I can keep it and not have to worry about this crap at all?
Yeah. Yeah. So the Linux Mint team did it right. They set a preferences to prevent Snap from installing.
Altogether.
So have a look at what the code of what Linux Mint 20 did, and you can implement that same thing in Solus, most likely.
That's true. Just go based off of that. And
Farron
figure it
says, I
out.
don't know, maybe they just realized Edge on Chromium because the old Edge was crud. I disagree. The old Edge was just fine. Tech, you work with Windows at work. What do you think? Old Edge just fine or what?
I think Old Edge is fine, and I actually like their HTML engine. I think it's from everything I've read from people who are more web designer than I am, they have said their HTML engine is actually really, really good. Unfortunately, Edge is quirky and it's its own little section of the universe. And it doesn't have much in the way of a market share. So Microsoft is hoping that by adopting the Chromium standard, they can get more people on board with the tyranny of the default browser. And the new Edge also allows you to render web pages in Old Edge and IE 11, 10, 9, so forth. So it gives you some extra features that other Chromium browsers don't. We're a slow-moving organization when it comes to that kind of stuff, so we're sticking with Old Edge. I'm sure New Edge will come in the near future for us.
Yeah, it's already starting to roll out in the new version of Windows. But...
Yeah, my home computer has got it already. My Windows partition, my gaming partition is what it is. It's the only thing I use Windows for.
Riffrath says, if you need Chrome, use Brave or Dissenter. Same thing, except better privacy. Except Brave got themselves into a weird scandal recently. There's a new fork coming out called Braver, which is that. And Dissenter is Brave browser with a lot of the craziness pulled out of it. So Dissenter wouldn't be too bad to look into if you don't mind the whole... Never mind. I don't think I can even use those terms anymore. The WN words, I can't say those, can I? Because everyone accuses Dissenter of that because its relationship with some froggy social media or something.
I've not ran Brave since the early days, so I would have a really unique take on it on like a live stream or something. Just to go. I think I do better with my content if I just go live and shoot something when I'm in the mood, because I never get around to creating my videos ever.
Yeah.
Hardly. I stay too busy with other stuff. I just put it off, and then I feel terrible, and then the guilt rolls in, and then I get depressed.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't get depressed over videos. That's not cool.
Yeah, I know. It's silly.
What video conferencing platform are we using? I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
Oh God, not Zoom.
Not Zoom.
No, StreamYard.
We're going to plead the fifth, but it's not Zoom.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I see now.
Yeah. So here's another point to make before I kind of want to get off of the Snap flat package thing. But I will say that if you are interested in using snaps and flat packages, the best distro for this right now is actually Manjaro, because they have put in a new feature in the XFCE Manjaro in Pamac where it is a toggle switch. Toggle on, toggle off. You can run your snaps or not run your snaps and not worry about anything else. And that is
awesome. Probably what I'll end up eventually going back to. I love Ubuntu Budgie, but it's doing some weirdness that I'm getting old and gray, and I don't want to configure stuff anymore, and I just want it to freaking work, and I'm so sick of it. And
Farron says, yes, Farron, I know that apt is what Mint used, not EO package, but I would be totally surprised if EO package, which behaves a lot like apt, would not have a preferences option. That's all they did, is they added a preferences option to prevent snaps from installing. My guess is they have that option. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't know much about the EO package, but my guess is they probably do, being as it behaves a lot like apt.
Man can't live on snaps alone.
That's right.
No, they cannot. That is true.
Microsoft can say whatever they want. I will not use Edge as my Waterfox is just fine with DuckDuckGo. Yeah. I don't know.
Guys,
I'm not sure
snaps
who's a
are your
creepier company,
jelly
though.
candies.
Microsoft or System One. I'm not sure. Because if you go to System One's website, Waterfox is officially a System One application. And System One does some crazy stuff. Read that privacy policy, people. I mean, I read privacy policies. System One is the worst privacy policy I've ever seen in my life. And that gives you an indication. It is so bad. They're like, hey, we'll use the data that you give us, and then we're going to supplement it with stuff that we find or buy about you. That is in their privacy policy. That is the company that now owns Waterfox, and it's listed as an
You're
official.
basically telling us they're building profiles for people.
Yeah, so it's questionable if Waterfox is caught up in all that or not. So the Start Page relationship is a little bit different in that they made an investment in Start Page, but they do not own Start Page. So there's a little bit of difference there, but it's still it's like I trust Start Page, I don't trust System One, and that causes me, the System One Start Page relationship causes me to doubt them a little bit, and that's a concern. But frankly, DuckDuckGo search results for me, they just don't do it for me. So I do use Start Page on many of my things. Some of them
They work great for me. You got to learn how to juggle the words.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's all in how you word it.
Well, I mean,
It takes time to get it right.
I've been doing a lot of data mining stuff for years, and I cannot get DuckDuckGo to give me results nearly as good as I can from Start Page.
Oh boy.
Nuked Waterfox and System One bought it. Yeah.
Lyra Dash says, is the new Microsoft Edge much better at privacy than Google Chrome? I would say
no.
Yes, but only because I think Microsoft is slightly less egregious than Chrome is at privacy violations.
I wonder how much they paid for Waterfox.
Not sure.
Because that guy should have offered it up to a Linux community, like the GNOME Foundation or something like that. That would have been a much fairer deal for everybody.
I don't know if the GNOME Foundation could have outright System One, though. I mean, System One, you have to understand, this is a huge global national corporation we're talking B's in the revenue. There's no way a Linux project could have bought them up. Look into Cirex is really good. Yeah, I have to look into that. I believe with Cirex you can actually host your own. I should do my own switch to Linux search engine. Right?
STL search.
That's right.
It'll be STLS.
They had $1 billion to just throw around. They could have built their own browser the way they really wanted it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get much. I don't want to get much into all that right now, especially since we are
almost out of time.
Yeah, we're running low in time here, and I have another stream coming up, so we're gonna.
All right, well, before we go, Quantum Alpha also wanted to point out that Discord reserves itself the right to sell all your data, including everything you say, share, upload to third parties. So all of us Discord fans out there, me,
correct, yeah,
we should all be aware.
The Flatpak sandboxes itself very well from the system, so it doesn't harvest the external stuff outside of the Discord app. And that's the advantage of running the Flatpak version versus the browser or the native apps. But absolutely.
Definitely got Flatpak.
He said they invest in Start Page, but still okay to use Start Page. So as my understanding is right now, I still am going to trust Start Page, but cautiously, but still I'm going to trust Start Page for now. They have released the data flow. They've released some of the things that caused the privacytools.io to delist them initially. Privacytools.io has relisted them, but with a warning. And I'm going to echo that right now because while I do trust Start Page, I do not trust System One. But they do not own Start Page, and the original founders of Start Page still maintain full executive control over the browser. So, or the whatever it is, search engine.
Okay,
So as of
they
right
have
now,
some autonomy there.
yes. So I still do trust start page.
Yeah, for now.
For now, I'm just I'm leery, and I'm watching it, and I'm gathering more data right now on it. So that's that.
Doing your due diligence. I don't, man. All the stuff that you do just to research and keep people aware is a godsend. Uh, Apart from your day job and your regular daily activities, web design and channels and all that,
Writing books.
yeah, authorship. You know, Tom's really worked his butt off on some books. He's got a few books out there. Guys, if you like the channel, not trying to e-bag or anything, but if you want to, if you like it, think about supporting Tom and the channel.
Better
And,
you e-bag than me, right?
Right. But
right above my picture, there's Think Life Media and Patreon links. So if you're interested,
Right.
that's how everyone
Link
that's
is there.
on Patreon or Think Life Media can join in on these streams, or super chat too if you want. So.
And I know you appreciate everyone who donates regular and has for so long now.
Absolutely, that's you guys keep the channel
Keeps
going.
it
I don't say
going.
that nearly as much as I probably should, but absolutely, the supporters are what allows me to continue to do this and take more time out of my regular day jobs to keep doing more stuff over here. So
This is fun, though. You know, it's a labor of love. Knowledge is power, but it also gets depressing knowing the state of the world. But it's like,
as a Christian, I can look at the state of the world and just laugh because I know that I've read the end of the book. I know where it's going.
I know where I end up, but the biggest part of me would like to see things stabilize and people regain their sanity. And it does. It hurts deep inside to see the division in this country. It really bothers me bad.
It bothers me too. You're not alone.
The issue with all races, it's they've tried to, by claiming they're helping the situation, all they're doing is making it worse and driving people further apart.
Yeah.
So, well,
it just seems like there's no win. You know, we're all the same. Which skin color should not matter. I could care less about your skin color. I care. It's like Martin Luther King Jr. said it first, and it may be cliche to some, but the character of the person is what matters above all else. The skin color, I could care less.
All right. I dropped the link in there for the stream coming up on my other channel. That is my Christian channel, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So that's 1 hour from now. We're going to be talking about we're introducing the 3rd chapter of the book of 1 Peter. So if you are interested in Christian things or want to learn about being a blessing, that's the link is there in the comments. So
that's an excellent book.
Over there.
Very powerful, small book.
We'll go ahead and wrap this one up for now. So, Dan, final words?
LTS and rolling releases, choose what works for you. My impression is lately that maybe that rolling releases have gotten a little more stable. Maybe like from the Manjaro side, they hold some packages and see what's going to happen. Long-term LTSs can have their share of the same kind of issues too, because even though they're LTSs, they go in and add stuff to the kernel for newer hardware and stuff like that. So you don't run into problems with that. But my preference myself is I like the LTSs a little better than the rolling, just because of the update situation with rolling releases. Because with a rolling release, you have something that's always renewing itself. You never have to replace it if it don't break because it's always up to date. And that's just my take on that.
Yep. All right. Mark, final words?
Yeah. For newcomers coming to Linux, and I know you guys hear us knock on Ubuntu a lot, I have to say Ubuntu still remains a much better option than Windows in this current day. And if you're looking and coming at Linux and you maybe don't want to run Ubuntu for privacy and security, please understand that it's far better than Windows. And they do work hard and they do a lot of good work, but just be wary of the areas that we talk about, snaps, Flatpaks, and things. And where you can use the repository, and you'll usually have a great time. Ubuntu is just, if you want to get up a system, get it up and go and just use it and not have to worry about doing a lot of configuring or really anything at all. It's the ideal distro. And
Yep.
welcome to have you in the Linux community. Thank you for
Absolutely.
your interest in all that's done here.
All right. Tech, final words.
I think Peter Jansen said it best: is that new hardware in LTS, it does not work, which is what I'm struggling with.
Yes.
I want to switch over to. I'm thinking about switching over to OpenSUSE Leap, and the wireless cards that I have are a little bit newer.
I'll tell you, the best LTS, go with Manjaro. Give it a try.
I just don't want to. There's nothing wrong with Manjaro. I just don't want to use Manjaro. I just want to use OpenSUSE.
Do OpenSUSE Tumbleweed then. Give it a try.
Right.
Give it a try.
Maybe. All right. I'll think about
Try
it.
Arco D. Try Arco D, I believe. That one's the one I think where you get the net installer and it's really fast. And it's all
Yeah, but I think he doesn't want to run Arch and he wants to run OpenSUSE. So if you want to run OpenSUSE, run the Tumbleweed. You'll be fine with it. As long as you're up on the updates, you'll be fine with it. Honestly.
Right. Hopefully it doesn't break anything this time.
Quantum Alpha.
Dandelions.
Quantum Alpha asked me a random question at a time to go to sleep somewhere between 2 and 4 a.m., depending on how tired I get. So usually between 2 and 4. Let's see if there's anything else. Is Sparky rolling? Sparky rolls about as fast as a glacier. It's based on Debian. So no, it does not roll. I think that's everything major for now. So we will go ahead and wrap this up here. Yeah, Dan's got final words in. I go in order from the bottom, so I don't forget. All right, guys, we'll hang out over there. And if you guys want to jump on over on the Christian site, I dropped the link in there. That's channels Are Walking Christ. So if you want to jump on over there. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for the weekly news
Start time on that Walking Christ stream.
9:00 p.m. Eastern time.
9 p.m. sharp Eastern Standard.
Yep, 52 minutes from now, and that's every Thursday.
Gotcha.
All right, guys, we will catch you. Yep, we will catch you guys later.
All right, see you.
Thanks for dropping in, folks.